Hey guys, thanks for joining tonight. I'm going to get rocking here in just a second. We have people still coming in. All right, well, I'm your host tonight, Tyson Cobb. Co-host with us is Donato. I'll introduce him shortly. This is Timberview Academy. It's our second mastermind that we've launched through Timberview Capital. And this one's for investor education and the information that your career never gave you. So we've, as high income professionals, we've worked hard, dug in deep, and learned a lot. But there's a lot about investing in wealth development and creation and preservation that we were never taught. And it's all critically important, particularly if you want to leave a legacy for your family. So we're going to be diving in on how high income professionals could take control of their finances, create and preserve wealth, and build a lasting legacy. So if you look at some of the historical perspectives, like the legacy of the Vanderbilts versus Rockefellers. The Vanderbilts just kind of handed everything to their heirs, and within 2 to 3 generations, it was all gone, which is very typical because the kids may know a little bit about what you're doing, but the grandkids certainly don't. And if you don't pass that education and that structure down, it doesn't last. So the Rockefellers did create that structure, and theirs has survived many, many generations, and they've not only preserved the wealth, but they've continued to grow it. So we want to teach you how to create the wealth, how to mitigate your taxes so you create wealth faster, and then finally how to keep that wealth and preserve it. And we want you to understand that. So we're not going to give you a fish tonight. We're going to teach you to fish, and then we'll introduce you to the specialists that'll help you form those trusts and pull those levers. Just a quick disclosure: we're not CPAs, financial advisors, or attorneys. This is educational. If you have questions, please drop them into the chat or the Q&A. We may or may not stop as we go through if we notice them, but I promise we will answer all your questions at the end. And if you happen to think of something after the fact, feel free to shoot us an email or send us a text. So, high income does not automatically create financial freedom, but it does set you up to do it very well. So, as a high income professional, we can create exponential growth very quickly if we just apply that amount of income. And it's kind of fortunate that we pay as much in taxes as we do, because that stuff is just low-hanging fruit that you can take and harvest and start using that. And I'll show you some math on that. So your profession kind of keeps you stuck because you're so busy on the hamster wheel. I did it for over 2 decades, never looking up, just head down, going as fast as I could, seeing the next patient in the clinic, doing the next surgery, taking call and getting up and doing it all over again. And all of that busyness just keeps you away from learning these types of things and creating financial freedom so that you get your time back and spend time doing what you want to do. Your public markets is going to slow you down as well. If you look at people like Tony Robbins that have spent their life studying investments, he only has 25% of his portfolio in the stock market. He has about 40% in real estate, and the rest are in other private investments. We tend to delegate decisions. I did it for decades. You're turning decisions over to your financial advisors. Most financial advisors are just simply putting you into the items that their company is selling, and it's not truly diversified. So if your financial advisor is not making recommendations for true diversification into private investments, then you need to think about that yourself. And we would encourage you to get an education so you can make your own decisions and vet your own decisions moving forward. Most CPAs don't do any tax planning. They're historians. They look backwards and they tell you how big a check to write, and that's not the way to handle taxes. So the tax code is written to incentivize you to provide housing. And when you do that, they give you a tax break, and they incentivize you to create jobs. And when you do that, they give you a tax break. So by knowing what the government is incentivizing and taking advantage of that, you can make money through those investments and at the same time save taxes. So it just really explodes your ability to generate wealth. So, your profession prepared you to earn, but you're never really taught all of these things that we're going to talk about tonight. And not to belittle the earning, because it's very, very important, and it allows you to build your net worth in a very exponential way compared to how other people have to do it, which is a slower path. And you can still get there on that path, but you can't expedite the way you can if you're a high income professional and have the funds to invest and move forward, and particularly with tax mitigation. So proactive tax planning, it's easy to save a big chunk of money there if you're a high income professional, and we'll talk about that more. Private and alternative investments, you have to know why you're walking away when it's time to walk away, and you have to know why you're putting your cash into a deal. And so that's our push on this mastermind, is to teach you how to make those decisions and make you completely independent in your decision making. And we're here to help you and help you through that process. Evaluating sponsors and opportunities, you have to know how to dig in and vet these people, dig under the hood, see where they've been, what they've done, and then look at where they're going, and get a good perspective on how reliable that is. Building cash, the passive cash flow is what allows you to become work optional. And I'm not suggesting that you need to quit doing whatever it is you're doing. I still work 1 day a week as an orthopedic surgeon. I enjoy it. I don't do it because I have to. I do it because I want to. And it really gives you peace of mind when you reach the point where you know you don't have to work. Protecting accumulated wealth, we've talked about that before. It's extremely important to know how to do that, and to have the people that can put everything in place so that it's protected while you're still here, and then create a legacy moving forward. So I did everything pretty typical for the first few decades. Didn't do anything exceptional, and the net worth growth. This is what my trajectory looked like when I was working full time as an orthopedic surgeon. Don't show you the numbers on net worth. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the slope of that line, because that represents the velocity of my net worth growth. And it was steadily up, but nothing mind-boggling there. Financial planner was making most of my investment decisions. My CPA, I thought, was handling the tax strategies, but what I found out when I started joining groups and masterminds and hanging out with people that knew a lot more about it than I did, I found out he wasn't doing anything, and I replaced him with somebody that could. And you'll be amazed at the maneuvers that you can do when you dig in and get with the right people and right tax strategist. So when I left my group in 2019, I was expecting the slope to go down. You would expect that, right? Going from a full-time busy orthopedic surgeon to just working 1 day a week. Now I'm off call, enjoying life, and spending my time with who I want to, and doing what I want to. And suddenly my net worth just explodes in the other direction, which frankly I wasn't expecting. But that's what happens when you mitigate taxes and create multiple streams of income. And then finally, I moved into syndications, where you're able to create much more additional streams of income, because you're not having to oversee these things. So you spend all your time up front vetting them, vetting the operators, vetting the actual investment, vetting the location. You want to make sure it checks all the boxes before you write a check. And with the syndications, you're able to leverage the talents of professional operators, but you want to make sure that they're the right people before you get involved with them. Turning Point was not a single investment. It wasn't, a trip to Vegas type of thing where You hear people making it big. That's shouldn't be your goal. What should be your goal is to just make good, solid investments that are doubling your money in 5 years or less, and then mitigating taxes so that you have additional funds to put into investments. And now you're pulling a bunch of levers and creating a lot of passive income. So, it's the moment that I took ownership of my financial future, dug in and got in rooms with people that knew more about it than I did. So, one of the sayings that we use a lot is, if the fastest way to get somewhere in life is to hang out with people that are already where you want to be. And so these investments are vehicles, but the education is the real catalyst here. The different financial trajectory gave me a greater choice, and it gave me my time back. And in the end, that's what we're looking for with the freedom. Is you want freedom of time to do the things that you enjoy and don't have time to do now. Spending time with your family and just making preparation for the future. Let's talk a little bit about tax mitigation and how much that changes your growth. So I want to talk about two concepts here on this one graph. The first concept is it's pretty easy to save. If you're a busy professional, high income, it's pretty easy to save 100,000 a year on taxes if you know what you're doing and you get in the right rooms with the right people. So this is just an example of somebody who saves 100,000 a year and puts it to work, gaining about 20%. So if you're on a 5-year hold and with a 2x equity multiple, which is kind of the baseline that we look for, then that's about where you're going to be on that. So it's that's not a big return in private investing. It's kind of what you expect. And you'd be looking at, and then within this, as you're looking at two different growths with this 200 a year over a 20-year period. This one we're paying taxes on, and this one we're not. Now, I'm not suggesting you don't pay taxes that you owe. What I'm suggesting is you invest and you create vehicles where it's growing tax-free. Now, not tax deferred like most of your retirement accounts, because you're going to have to pay taxes on that when you take it out, and you're going to lose about a third to half, depending on what your bracket is at that time and what state you live in. So we're not talking about tax deferred. We're talking about tax free, and there's a lot of different ways to make that happen. And so this just shows you the difference between those two curves. It's $13 million difference between these, depending on whether or not you clip that and invest in such a way that you don't. So a good example of this would be doing backdoor discount rollovers into a Roth, which we do a lot. If you're doing backdoors and you're not getting a discount on those, you'll want to dig in on the discount, because it'll save you a lot of money. Donato joined us in Q4 of last year. He's our CFO. He spent time at the Department of Defense. He entered real estate during COVID and acquired 176 units by the age of 23. He was the former director of acquisitions at one of the major multifamily investment firms. His position there, he's underwriting deals every single day and digging in deep and learning how to say no on almost everything that came across his desk, just looking for the true wins. The other thing he did is very active in education in their masterminds, and he's helping us with that as well. He's also a co-founder for a pop tech startup with a portfolio of over 600 doors. He leads our acquisition, deal sourcing, investment structuring, and also education here at Timberview Capital. Donato, thanks for joining tonight, and I'll run your slides for you.
Thank you very much for the introduction, Tyson. I appreciate it. Everything we do here at Timberview Capital comes down to a strong thesis around allowing people to be introduced to and experience new opportunities in the financial space. And financial education changes the very nature of the questions that you ask as you go through this whole process. So, when you first are learning about private investment opportunities, numbers get tossed around. Things like cash on cash, average annual return or annual return, IRR, so on and so forth. And the questions that were commonly thought of to ask is what returns are being advertised? Who else is investing in the deal? Does the opportunity sound exciting or new? And what did my advisor tell me to do? And as Tyson alluded to, those questions will get you in the game, but they're not going to help you win. What we want you to be asking when you see opportunities come across your pipeline are the same questions that I might ask when a deal gets pitched to us to participate in. Things such as what assumptions drive these projections? What has to go right in order for this to work? And what could prevent this plan from succeeding in the future? In addition, how experienced and aligned is the operator? This question has become exceptionally prevalent over the course of the last 36 months. As interest rates have risen, and debt is no longer as cheap as it once was, the need for an experienced operator with industry-specific expertise is absolutely critical because you need someone who can move the needle. So matching the right operator with the right asset class is ultimately going to be much more important than are other people investing in it too, and doesn't sound like a great opportunity to invest in. And finally, how does this fit your broader financial strategy? For those of you who I have had the pleasure of speaking with on the phone, I always talk about deals in terms of the triangle of returns. Okay. Triangle of returns is cash flow, tax benefits, and equity growth. Every deal you may participate in from a private investment perspective is going to hit one, two, or all three of those corners in different ways. So it's not enough for you to ask the question, is it a good deal? What we want you to ask is it a good deal for you at this point in your investment career for your goals over the coming 1, 3, 5, 10, 15, 20 years? Ultimately, everything can be a good deal to the right person at the right time. We care about making sure that you are matched the right opportunities. So ultimately, a better question will lead to a more informed decision and ultimately and hopefully a better financial outcome. So speaking about tax benefits, we want to be very clear that tax preparation and tax strategy are very different things. Most people, when they think about tax preparation, you have a record of what's already happening, and it only looks back previously. It focuses on accurate filing, dotting the I's, crossing the T's, and it generally only begins after the year's already ended. So it's now January, you're calling your CPA, you're having a conversation, making sure you're filling out the right boxes. You can be fortunate for the chance to spend $200,000 on the IRS every year. Tax strategy is a little bit different. It's all about proactive tax planning, and it's a conversation Tyson and I have consistently as we look towards the future of Timberview Capital. First off, it is about identifying potential opportunities before deadlines. Depreciation, deductions, tax credits, and a variety of different things that can impact how much you end up having to owe at the end of the year comes down to making sure the calendar dates are aligned and you're getting in at the right time with the right opportunities. It also connects income, investments, and financial decisions. What kind of income are you earning? Where is that coming from? How involved are you in that type of income? Are you W-2'd? Are you 1099? Do you have business interest, dividend income? And what types of investments are going to help offset what types of income from different parts of your current financial household? Proactive tax planning also absolutely requires multiple conversations through the year. If not at least monthly, definitely quarterly, where you need to be understanding what you are going to be looking for at the end of the year. Mainly because the concept of depreciation, that is passive losses you can earn through real estate or business, aren't lost, which means if you have a large loss in one year, you have the capacity to carry those losses forward into oncoming years. So, for example, Tyson has a standout year in his practice at one point in time, and he's looking to offset those gains or that income. He can take action in 2026 that could provide lots of depreciation that he could then carry forward into years like 2027, 2028, and 2029. So what you do now and the planning you do now can reverberate through years to come and keep helping you avoid those taxes and avoid those situations where you have to pay into systems simply due to poor planning. And finally, proactive tax planning is all about coordinating with qualified tax professionals. You do not need to become a tax professional. You do need enough education to recognize which questions to ask. And this is the hard one, if you're asking the right person. Just because someone is a tax professional or just because they are a CPA does not necessarily mean they know everything about all types of private investments or every particular type of niche in the industry of tax saving. That's okay. Not every person is going to have the right knowledge for every particular conversation. But one belief that needs to die immediately is that every CPA knows everything about every particular tax strategy that exists. There are specialists for a reason, and our job here at Timberview Capital is to help connect you with tax professionals who have expertise in what we do, as tax strategies that we like to implement, can walk you through the risks and what the benefits are to you if you were to pursue these different types of private investments. We're more than happy to do it. That's one of the benefits of being here at the Timberview Capital Network. So back to our triangle of returns. Every investment needs to have a job. Cash flow. For those of you who are needing income today, individuals who are looking to supplement existing income, who are close to retirement and are looking to be able to replace their average paycheck today. If you're looking to get qualified distributions consistently, you can reinvest. Cash flow is key. Second, equity growth. Right back to that chart that Tyson talked about a little bit earlier, expanding your net worth, building potential value over time, and taking your money and adding it 2, 3, 5, 10, or even 15x over a period of time to really grow what your investable capital looks like. Finally, your tax efficiency and reducing potential tax drag. All of these things combined constitute the wealth preservation. Together, these are going to protect and sustain what you built. And the right combination, again, is critical based on your goals, your timeline, your income needs, your risk tolerance, and tax situation. That is what we do here at Timberview Capital. Help connect the right people to the right opportunity. We love having this conversation, and ultimately, we are happy to connect you with what we think might be of interest to you, and you can tell us which things match for your particular point in time. The next part is that wealth creation requires much more than finding a great deal. Lasting financial independence requires multiple things coming together, which includes building the investment education and the portfolio, the protection on the risk management and asset protection side through a series of trusts, entities, and so on and so forth, and coordinating proactive tax planning with estate and legacy planning with the right professional team. Collection of investments is not automatically a financial strategy. Can be with appropriate planning, but just investing is just the first piece of the pie. We want you to have the entire bakery. That's why we've been so happy to announce and are happy to bring to all of you this evening Timberview Academy. It is all about turning financial education into action. And the crux of Timberview Academy is financial education, mentorship for different types of physicians, surgeons, and high-income professionals so you can create wealth, save taxes, and leave a legacy. What Timberview Academy specifically does is help you first off understand. Hundreds and hundreds of people come through Timberview Capital Network every year. And the conversation, and Tyson can comment on this as well, is I am getting hammered on taxes. I am too reliant on my W-2 income. My net worth is lagging behind where I feel I should be. I want to participate in the private investment space. I know absolutely nothing about how this world works. And there's a combination of fear, sometimes a feeling of regret on not having learned sooner, ultimately excitement about what's possible. However, being able to go from I'm interested in private investments and what it can do for you and your family to I've made my first investment to I have a sound strategy can be a long and winding road. And Tyson can talk about the amount of time he spent, the money he spent, and the absolute bouncing between different professionals to try to come up with what actually works and what people need to know before they invest in an opportunity. And ultimately, that's what's been boiled down into Timberview Academy. We want you to understand private and alternative investments. This is simply how to talk the talk. What means what questions to ask, what assets should you pursue, what does tax planning look like, and actually understand how everything works together. Second, we want you to understand how to evaluate opportunities with a repeatable framework, including tax and wealth planning considerations. So by the time that you're in a conversation with Tyson or myself, by going through Timberview Academy, we should be able to ask you, why do you like this investment? And you'll be able to explain to us what about it stands out to you and why you think it fits in with your goals. Because our job and our incentive is not to raise all the money in the world and do all the deals in the world. Our goal here is to help you understand why each opportunity works for you. So ultimately, you are achieving the goal you're setting out to do. And finally, building. We want a strategy for each and every single person in Timberview Academy to build, preserve, and transfer wealth, giving you greater ownership, freedom, and choice to ultimately pursue whatever interests you may have. That's what Timberview Academy helps you do. From I don't know anything to I'm interested to I know a little bit to I'm getting more confident to I can see investments, I can understand them, I can make my first, my second, my fifth, my 10th investment, and I have the education, knowledge base for both myself, my family, my kids, my partners to move forward and take action. That's what this is all about. What you specifically are going to learn in Timberview Academy is the foundation of first off, developing an investor mindset, creating a personal financial vision, and proactive tax education. Basically, what tools are available to you. Second, we're going to talk about investing on private alternative investments, what the asset classes do, what they don't do, what passive real estate investing looks like, and what cash flow equity growth look like in private investments. We're then going to talk about evaluation, how to vet a sponsor, how to vet a deal, how to diversify your portfolio, what kind of exposure should you be looking at, and how to build your professional team, whether that's through personal hires, through advisors, or things like a fractional family office. Finally, we're going to talk about protection, wealth preservation, asset protection, and estate and legacy planning. And what's exceptionally important for everyone here to understand about Timberview Academy is that this is designed so you do not need to have prior investment or real estate experience prior. If you know nothing, Timberview Academy is for you. If you know something, but you want to have an actual module and modules to work through to understand why your decisions are important and how you can expand upon them to accelerate your growth. Or if you are someone who has done this multiple times and you want to pass that education on to someone else in your life and you want a foundation to refer back to on what things mean and why you're doing what you're doing, that's what Timberview Academy is designed to do, is a foundational framework for you to succeed in private investments using everything that Timberview Capital and Tyson has been able to accommodate and accumulate over the last several years. Remember, with everything we're talking about here, just because you're a passive investor does not mean your mind can be passive. You still are absolutely required to make informed decisions. What we stand on at Timberview Capital is we want every investor to be 100% informed and know exactly what they're getting into every single time. Where passive ownership lets you participate in professionally operated investments without personally managing the tenants, leasing, contractors, repairs, daily ops. You still need to know how to evaluate the opportunity before saying yes. Our organization wants you to be able to say no and know why you're saying no. That's what we want you to be able to do. That's what we're trying to get you to be able to do through Timberview Academy. Know when to say no and know why you're saying. So, the Timberview Deal Evaluation Framework, which is a component of what you'll learn inside of Timberview Academy, is ultimately going to talk about how to examine the operator. Who is responsible for executing the business plan? From background checks to track record, performance history, to how many markets and what kind of markets they've been able to be successful in, to the specific opportunity itself. The numbers and business plans make sense. For example, if someone here was interested in talking about a multifamily investment opportunity, and I told you that this investment opportunity was being purchased and purchased at a 5.5 cap, is projected to sell at a 4 cap with 3.5% rent growth for the first 3 years and 2% in years 4 and 5, with an 80% loan to value floating rate loan. Is that a good deal? Some people here might know the answer to that, others might not. And if you're not 100% confident about which parts of that statement you need to ask questions on and why it matters, that's what this framework's for. You should be able to pick a deal apart and know exactly what things put you at risk in an opportunity before you ever say yes. That's our goal. Next, market evaluation. Does the location support the investment thesis? Ultimately, great Chick-fil-A or great Long John's or Jimmy John's sandwich shop can be a great investment. But if it's in the middle of nowhere with less than 200 people in that market, you're not going to sell enough food. Great opportunity and the right operator can fail in the wrong market. And we have to understand, does the location support the investment thesis? Finally, and I'm going to triple tap on this one, debt. Debt. Does the debt match the opportunity? Over the last 4 years, anyone here has heard about deals going poorly, it's because of the debt. Situations where opportunities, good operators, even great markets meant unfortunate debt markets where the wrong term, the wrong interest rate, the wrong conditions of their loans ended up working against them. What is absolutely critical for success as we move forward is, can the financial structure underlying the investment withstand changing conditions? And we're going to teach you what types of financings out there, what's applicable in what situations, and the kind of questions you should be asking when it comes to debt. Because ultimately, this is the conversation that we've had multiple times with multiple operators that ultimately requires us to not participate in deals when the debt doesn't match the rest of the deal. Finally, sponsor alignment. Are the sponsor's incentives aligned with you as an investor? This ultimately comes down to promote conversations or the split, fees being charged, and what power and control the operator has in their PPM or the private placement memorandum, for those who don't know what that means, but you'll learn, in order to ensure that you are working and investing in a team that has your interests at heart. All of these things are part of the Timberview deal evaluation framework and ties into what we as an organization do every single day before we bring an opportunity to our investors. So what you are getting in the Timberview Academy in terms of actual deliverables is a complete investment education curriculum. It is 1 year of access to, I think, over 20 different modules at this point on school community that covers tax mitigation, wealth preservation, private investments, and becoming a confident investor. You also will get a private onboarding call with the Dr. Tyson Cobb that will start your journey on this to answer your goals, answer questions, and jumpstart your financial journey through the Timberview Academy. You will then get the Timberview Deal Evaluation Framework. You will learn how to examine private investments and apply a proven framework before committing your capital, similar to the one that we are using and I'm using every day when we talk to new deals. In addition, Timberview Academy members will have an exclusive monthly live group call with just Timberview Academy members, with both Tyson and myself, for live education sessions and member Q&A, to include things such as live deal analysis, conversations about tax planning, conversations about investment opportunities, and conversations about estate planning and connections to resources that you need. Dedicated time to help make sure that you are getting where you need to go. And finally, access to Timberview Capital's resources, including growing libraries of tools, templates, resources, professionals, and all of our recordings and webinars we're doing for different investment opportunities, so on and so forth, including our seasoned financial advisor, CPA, and attorney professionals we're bringing in who do educational content. You'll have access to those webinars as well. Ultimately, by the time you are done with Timberview Academy, you will be 100% confident in making your first or next investment. Be 100% confident that you know how to apply these frameworks to decide if an investment opportunity is right for you. That's what you're getting. Ultimately, you will be learning alongside people who understand your challenges, who are similar places of their career, similar goals for themselves and for their families, similar interests, and similar drives to achieve through the private investment space. You do not have to build your financial education alone. Do not have to be sitting across from your financial advisor or CPA by yourself, not knowing questions to ask. With Timberview Academy, you are intentionally putting yourself in a group of people who want the same things you do, and with the education backing you, every time you walk into a conversation with a sponsor, financial advisor, or CPA, you have the full weight and breadth of the Timberview Capital team and the Timberview Academy network backing you to make sure you know exactly what questions to ask, and you always advocate for yourself to the best degree possible. So ultimately, the fastest way to get somewhere in life is to spend time with people who are already where you want to be. For those of you in the medical profession, Tyson is exactly that person who's been able to go from where you are to where you want to be. For everyone else who's a high-income professional who finds themselves working more and more hours, still paying those large amounts of taxes and watching their financial freedom take away from their personal lifestyle freedom, we know what that's like. We're happy to bring you into this group to help you get to where you want to go. So, our confidence guarantee is that if you complete the Timberview Academy program in the curriculum and don't feel confident in evaluating investments on your own, we will work with you personally on a one-on-one basis until you are confident. That is our guarantee to you. And icing on the cake, we're donating everything to charity. All profits generated from the Timberview Academy network are being donated to carefully selected charities to make a real difference. Timberview Academy is not here to create massive revenue for organization. It's here to help you be more savvy investors and help us support the charities that ultimately create the kind of world we want to live in with the type of impact that only we can do by bringing together like-minded individuals. It's education, it's advancement, it's community, and it's philanthropy in one organization. So let's talk about what it means to join the Timberview Academy from what you're getting and now what you're giving. Timberview Academy has two membership options. It's a 1-year membership. You can pay it in full today, $5,000. Alternatively, Timberview Academy is available for 3 payments of $1,800. Both options include the exact same curriculum, same onboarding, same monthly calls, deal evaluation framework, and educational resources, and continued support, and the confidence guarantee, with all profits being donated to carefully selected charities that Tyson's been raising for years, and new ones that we're presented to all the time. If you are interested in the Timberview Academy and you think that this is exactly what you're looking for in terms of getting started, accelerating your path, or referring back to a foundational knowledge set that's going to help you make better decisions for you, your family, and your colleagues and your friends, you can scan this QR code and instantly get teleported to the school organization where you can sign up and get started right now. If you have any questions with the Timberview Academy, our team is going to spend the rest of this presentation answering them live with you now. Make sure you feel comfortable, calm, and collected about whether this opportunity makes sense for you and if it's the right step. But Tyson, thank you so much for having me on, and we'll go ahead and open up the chat for Q&A. I see we already have one question that got submitted to us earlier that I'll go ahead and answer now. The first one, which was submitted in advance of our presentation this evening, is what is the difference between the Timberview Academy and the Timberview Cobb Club? Timberview Academy is everything we talked about today. It is the educational content, it is the framework, it is the modules, it is monthly call support. It is designed to get people from 0 to 1 or from 1 to 10 in terms of I know little, I want to know a lot more, I want more confidence in what I'm doing, and I want a framework and knowledge and process I can apply. The Cobb Club is for people on the other side of that journey. So if you're brand new to private investments, your journey might look like joining Timberview Academy, investing in Timberview Capital, different real estate investment opportunities, and eventually joining the Cobb Club. Where Cobb Club gets access to, for example, enhanced deal economics. So you're getting better splits, better projections, better returns on every deal you invest in, subject to the deal parameters. You have access to retreats, both at Tyson's Farm in Southern Illinois and international destinations like Cancun, where we bring together other like-minded individuals in one place. We have advanced tax strategies. You work with people on a one-on-one basis, and you have a white glove service for your investing journey. That's the difference between Cobb Club and Timberview Academy. And what's very important is that if you are in Timberview Academy and you pay to be a member, your cost of membership is applied and deducted from your Cobb Club membership if you join in that same calendar year. So investing in Timberview Academy is also a proactive investment in the Cobb Club and almost a proactive investment in yourself for you getting to that level to be able to participate in the Cobb Club. The Cobb Club is a restricted group. We do not admit everyone that is interested in the Cobb Club, and it is capped on number of individuals. However, we do give priority to those who are coming from Timberview Academy to join it. It's capped at around 30 to 40 people currently, depending on the interest level that we cap, but right around capacity at this current moment. We're more than happy to help you make this financial sense by allowing you to credit your Timberview Academy cost to the Cobb Club if you end up blowing through the curriculum and moving to that step in the same calendar year. Are there any other questions in our chat I'm looking through right now, or any other questions in the Q&A that anyone may have? In addition, if you'd like to speak, feel free to raise your hand and we can go ahead and unmute you, bring you on. You can ask your question live in real time. We're more than happy to take the time.
Thanks, Donato. Good job. I want to just tell you a little bit about my experience with masterminds. So I spend about $250,000 a year in masterminds. I'm in roughly 8 to 14 at any given time. And getting into masterminds is what I think probably made a bigger difference in my journey than any other single thing. Because when you get in rooms with people that, that have figured things out, like the tax credits and the different types of tax mitigation strategies, there's about 20 to 30 different tax strategies that are useful, um, way beyond what most people get involved with through their simple CPA. And most of those I found through various masterminds, and also a lot of the people that I bring into the group, I find in masterminds. So, if it weren't for those masterminds, I would still be bumping along in the dark trying to, figure my way through it. But what the masterminds do is they really cut the curve off and allow you to save a lot of time. And
Absolutely.
one thing that you can't get back in life is time. So, saving time so that you can get from point A to point B is super important, and it's worth spending some money on. So, if you want to prioritize what you spend money on, your education should be at the very top. And masterminds where you get in rooms with people that think differently and are very pro education and entrepreneurs and so forth. They just really give you an edge on life in all aspects. So one of the things that a lot of people don't realize with the masterminds is you learn a lot about everything. You learn a lot about, relationships and health and just being success and having a successful life. And so that's one of the things that I love about the masterminds is just the networking that you have with people who are just driven to be better
Mm,
better individuals, to give back, to, be healthy, to, whatever. There's just so many different levers in life that we should all be pulling. And when you're hanging out with people that prioritize that, and the other thing that you'll notice when you start hanging out with these entrepreneurs is they're very giving with their knowledge. And the way I look at it is I wouldn't be where I am today if somebody hadn't spent the time to organize a course so that I could figure out how to start, dissecting all this information out. And I'm still in that mastermind that launched, that path for me. So happy to, if anybody wants to talk about masterminds, I'm in a bunch all the time. The ones that I no longer get value out of, I will quit and move on to the next. And some will just seem to always bring value, so we're still in those. Um,
perfect.
one of the things that I mentioned earlier, but it's worth mentioning again. Um, your net worth growth as a high income professional depends as much on tax mitigation strategies as it does on picking good investments. And that is
Mm,
really low hanging fruit. So, if the thought of, getting into those types of things scare you a little bit, they shouldn't. You just have to be knowledgeable and you have to cross the T's, dot the I's, and check all the boxes. So it's about, this isn't about not paying the taxes you owe, but rather choosing a different path so you don't owe those taxes. And then you need to work with professionals to make sure that it's all done correctly. So, I think we can solve about any problem that people run into, not because we're that smart, but because we're that connected. And we can find people that can help you get around whatever it is you're dealing with. And uh,
absolutely.
I feel like I can pick up the phone right now and call somebody if I've got a problem. And if they don't know how to answer the question, they'll refer me on to somebody else. And that's the beauty of these masterminds. One thing that I want to point out too, Donato's already said it, but it's worth saying again. There's a difference between knowing whether or not a deal is good and knowing if it's good for you. And that's something that took me a while to sort out. And you have to think long range with your planning because you don't want to be short-sighted about, what you need today and tomorrow. The reality is you need to be thinking about what you need 5 years from now and planning for that. And so cash flow, as Donato pointed out, is something that I used to never even pay any attention to. And, I say cash flow is a little like oxygen. If you have plenty, you don't think anything of it. If you don't have enough, you can think of nothing else. And so we don't really know what's going to happen tomorrow. None of us do. So the reality is we should be planning some cash flow and, into our plan. And you can find investments that will give you cash flow, give you tax mitigation, and give you equity growth. But as Donato pointed out, if you're focusing on one or the other, it's easy to find an investment that really gives you a lot of one, and also gives you enough of the other. But you just want to spend time thinking about, where you're going in life, what you're going to need, not now, but 5 years from now, 10 years from now, and be thinking about those issues.
For
Um,
sure. We got a couple questions in the chat that I can go ahead and work through here.
okay.
First question, is there a specific timeline for the 12-month curriculum? Well, if you were to take down one module a week, it'd take you about 4 to 5 months. Um, if you were to digest that into about half a module a week, you're looking at about 8 months worth of consistent content. Some of you guys are going to blow it right through in one weekend, or probably not one weekend. There's a lot of content there. But we could probably absolutely blitz through it in maybe 8 weeks of content if you were to take everything as soon as possible. We would encourage you to not do that. There's a lot of things here. There's a lot of things that need to be absorbed. Part of the conversation is going to require you to talk to people like financial advisors, talk to people on our team, get connected. You're going to have to start building these things together. So I would say a module a week, you're looking at about 4 to 5 months. If you're be a little bit slower than that, maybe about 7 to 8 months to work all the way through, in addition to the monthly calls that are coming online. One question here, what exactly constitutes a mastermind? As Tyson has referred to, masterminds are generally a like-minded group of individuals coming together for a common goal, common beliefs, or common faith. In this case, mastermind of individuals who are looking to procure financial independence, freedom, and lifestyle choice through private investing and education. Question here, what day of the week will the group sessions be on? We are going to do a survey of the first batch of Timberview Academy cohort in order to see which time and date work the best. If there's situations where there is a split of people who are available, we'll go with the ones that have the most people, the most availability for the most people at that given time, and we'll flex based on the needs of Timberview Academy members. Finally, Cobb Club members have access to the Academy. That is correct. Cobb Club members have free complimentary access to the entire Timberview Academy. So, for those of you already in Cobb Club, everything we talked about tonight, you are getting. For those of you who are considering or going to join Timberview Academy this evening, who then in turn eventually join Cobb Club, you'll not only get your Cobb Club cost accredited against what your investment in Timberview was, we are also getting the ongoing benefits of Timberview Academy ongoing for free for as long as you're in Cobb Club. That is correct.
And then just to
I think those
clarify, the 12-month starts whenever you pay up. So I mean, that'll be your anniversary for the following year, and we'll continue to add additional information into the curriculum. And then there's also going to be the monthly calls. And then for those that can't make it, we will record those and send them out. So if you're not able to make it this
absolutely.
we always record those.
And to be clear, the Academy is designed to be self-service. We are not requiring, nor asking, nor do we build this to make you have to show up to a weekly call or multiple calls per week at a live session. This is pre-made, pre-done content that is constantly evolving, growing, and being added to, that is completely self-service on your own time, at your own volition, with the added benefit of monthly opportunities for us to come on, have conversations with you, in addition to opportunities with confidence guarantee of one-on-one work. Next question, will the Academy close at a certain date for the first cohort? No, the Academy will be open-ended for folks to come in. At a certain point in time, if we start seeing that we need to, due to level of support or level of demand, we need to pause incoming additional signups or people who are joining the Academy, we will do so, or to allow us to bring on more people to make sure everyone's getting facilitated appropriately. And again, we may do that sooner rather than later, as again, the point of Timberview with our 100% profit guarantee to charities, our goal is to make sure that people inside of the academy are getting what they need educational-wise. We can keep reinvesting back into the program. So it will not be closed at a certain date for the first cohort. It is open-ended, but we may end up stopping any new people coming in for a period of time if we need to upgrade, add on, or otherwise modify the program to account for overwhelming.
Yeah, so we'll be doing onboarding calls. So, we may, depending on how many people are interested in this, we may have to stretch things out a little bit in that regard. And I mean, we only have so much bandwidth, so we might kind of pause things. One thing I did want to mention too is, being in all these masterminds, it allows me to stay up much better than I would otherwise. And just little things like the excess business loss change that's occurred, and a lot of people are not aware of that. But there are times when you're going to get stuck on how much tax mitigation you can do because of the excess business loss limitations now. And very few of the tax strategists are recommending that you plan 2 years in ahead, but that's what you absolutely have to do if you're going to stay prepared to deal with getting stuck at some point in time in the future with the excess business loss. So the way that works is that appreciation that you don't use this year um, carries over, and it's carried over as net operating loss. And that net operating loss will come over the top whenever you get stuck with excess business loss and wipe out 80% of your tax obligation. So, being in rooms with the tax strategists that understand how to pull all these levers are very helpful. And it's also very helpful to be in those rooms when things change and they catch you off guard, because it can be very costly if you're not working with people that give you advice in that regard.
Percent. So if you're someone who has never heard the term excess business loss limitation before, and you consider yourself either a savvy real
Well, he was having some internet problems earlier, and looks like they may be back. If you guys are looking for any of the links, it looked like Myra dropped those into the chat. So if you're wanting the link to sign up or to go in and look at the landing page, they're in the chat. I'm just looking to see if there's any questions in here that we haven't answered. No, I think we have them all. It looks like he's coming back in.
All right, you guys with me? We're all here. See, as soon
Yep.
as I start talking about the tax strategies, the big guys don't want you to know they cut me off. See that? That's how you know what we're talking about is important here. So with excess business losses, if you aren't sure of what that means for you, if you aren't sure of what changes are coming down the tax pipeline, that's what we're here to help you understand. What's possible, what tools in the toolbox, and when one tool gets tossed out due to legislation, a new tool comes in, we're here to help you, which is why Timberview Academy is an evolving, dynamic program, and it continues to be updated and adopted as things change.
So there's one question in the Q&A. The question is, would I have to change CPA, or can I use my current CPA and just get advice? You can do that either way. Now, if your CPA is stubborn and doesn't like to take advice from specialists, then that may be a problem for you. Um, but I think most of them are open-minded enough that they'll take advice from someone who specializes in an area that they're not familiar with. And as Donato pointed out earlier, CPAs are, they're like doctors, if you will. I mean, I'm an orthopedic surgeon, but don't come talking to me about your GI problem, or or any other subspecialty for that matter. But at the same time, if you want to do if you want to have your wrist arthritis treated with a minimally invasive arthroscopic technique, I'm happy to take care of that for you. But I wouldn't recommend going to see your GI doc because they're not going to be very helpful, and CPAs are the same way. You just have to, and even our tax strategist will have an area that they specialize in, and so we will help direct you once we figure out what lane you're wanting to go down and what makes sense for you to at least investigate. So, we're not going to tell you what you have to do, but we can look at your situation and tell you things that you should at least consider. And in some instances, it requires involvement. Such as real estate professional requires a lot of involvement, but it can mitigate all of your taxes if you're able to make that happen. Now, if you're working full time, you can't do that. But if your spouse is not working full time and they have a interest in being involved in the real estate and you're filing jointly, then your spouse could mitigate all of your taxes through the real estate professional. But that does require a lot of active involvement, and you would need somebody who specializes in that area, and we would refer you to probably several that you could vet and see, which personality you prefer. And and then, obviously, your CPA would have to be willing to work with that individual, or you might choose just to change altogether. And I'll hire consultants frequently when I'm thinking about doing something that my people are not familiar with, because back to the doctor thing, it's they're just specialists that you want to use when you're going to do something like that. And that's some of the best money you'll spend is on your experts for tax strategy.
All right, I see two more questions in the chat here. First one, does access to the Academy give you access to Timberview CPA and tax strategists?
Yeah, so we'll spend time. We're going to do an onboarding call with you. We'll go through the whole, is the room here to maybe do the real estate professional, which is, the really big bang if you're able to do that. That's not a good fit for the majority of people, but when it does fit, it's phenomenal. Short-term rental loophole is, another one that requires active involvement. Maybe that's something that you or your spouse would enjoy doing, or maybe not. And we'll work through all of that, and then when we figure out what lane makes most sense for you to go down, then we'll refer you to the person that can help you solve that issue. And one of the things that I can't remember if we've mentioned tonight or not, but we all have blind spots, and uh, getting in these masterminds and in these groups will help you figure out where those blind spots are and shine a light on them. And that can save you a lot of money, as you go through and sort out what you don't know that you don't know. And we talk to people, Donato and I talk to people all the time that just assume that their CPA is handling everything that needs to happen to maximize their tax mitigation, but nothing could possibly be further from the truth than that. Most CPAs don't do anything meaningful, and I'm sure they're trying to do the best they can. But again, it's like arthritic hip and talking to a GI doc. It doesn't work. So you have to get in the room with the people that are specializing in those areas.
We have one more question in the chat here for this will be our last question for the evenings. We're at just the top of the hour. Are the funds paid for tuition considered a charitable contribution? So Timberview Academy is not set up as a 1C3 charitable organization, but it can be business write-off and business expense for personal education or make your payment from a business bank account that you have. So we can help you on the tax. It's not considered a charitable contribution for the structure of the organization itself. All right, I think you got it. I think that answers all the questions we currently have in the chat and the Q&A. So I'll say thank you everyone for coming this evening and Over to you for statements.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate you coming. The link again is in the chat. If you didn't get that, if you have a question after the fact, you can either email us or shoot us a text, and we're happy to jump on a call and answer your questions or answer them by email or whatever the case may be. And appreciate you all coming, and we're here to serve. So whatever you guys need, just let us know, and we're glad to help you out. So have a great night. Thanks for coming, Donato. Appreciate your help as always, and have a great night.
Thank you.